Hey family, welcome to How Love Works, where we talk about the principles for lasting love. Well, family, think there's trouble in paradise? Well, I would agree. Looks like we have two couples copulating and three couples infuriated with one another. Oh man. I tell you. It makes me I don't wanna make fun of anyone. I don't mean to, but when I think about what I saw yesterday and I was watching the show and I was saying to myself, my God, I'm from a different world. I could tell I'm from a totally different planet. I know I'm from a different generation. So when I view what I see each week and I listen to this new generation communicate and how they relate, I'm just always I'm always kind of taken back by why they are so shocked about why they're getting the predictable outcome of what they're saying and how they're acting and behaving. I am just it's hilarious to me. I just can't do anything but laugh. And that's just amazing to me. But as I always say, I digress. Let me say this. I just want to get right to it. When I was looking at Married at First Sight, I recognized that that show is America's version of arranged marriages. And the difference between the world's version, which 60% of the world still practices arranged marriages, and 90% of the Indian population still uses arranged marriages, and only 5 to 7% of them end up in divorce. Isn't that amazing? That means 90, I think it's 93% to 95% of them never divorce. Where here we are, we use what we call over here in the West love marriages, and over 50% of them fail. I tell you, it sounds like we got some issues over here. But anyway, let me lay out what I kind of saw. I got my notes right here. Okay, let's start right out. I want to start first of all with the brothers. I want to start with Michael, Zach, and Brandon, and give you my takeaway from these three young men. Okay, everyone knows about Michael and what he did and how that situation went down. Michael, 31 years old, is going to be a principal, smart young man. I can tell that Michael doesn't really have any understanding what he's doing. I mean, I recognize I'm going to say some things about his wife, Mica, but I do recognize that Michael doesn't have a clue on how to relate to women at all. I can tell he doesn't. I know he doesn't have any knowledge of how to manage a relationship with a partner. I know he doesn't know how to manage the feelings of a woman. I know he doesn't have any idea on how to manage the expectations of the relationship. And I also know he doesn't have any idea how to play his role. I know he doesn't. Just by the way he conducted himself when he ran into his first problem in the relationship, whether he did what he did deliberately or he did what he did ignorantly. I like to fall on the latter, that he did it ignorantly. I do not believe that he was necessarily trying to be mean or trying to be overly aggressive. I just think that he thought that by being direct and telling his wife, his bride, how he thought the relationship should flow, at least from an intimate perspective. He thought that by telling her off camera, now I don't mean to put words in the brother's mouth, this is just my take. I could be all off, I could be totally wrong. I'm saying that he probably thought he was doing the right thing, but he misinterpreted how she might be listening and hearing what he's saying. I don't know the tone he used. I don't know when he said it. I don't know what the context was when he told her what he said, because all I know is the fallout wasn't good. So that's what I see with him. And then the fact that he didn't really spend any real quality time with her to try to make the situation better. He's been there with 2-3 days, sleeping in an entirely different room. I can see maybe one night. You're gonna go 2 or 3 days. We're going on the third or the fourth day, and you're not spending any time with your wife. You're not trying to rectify the situation. You're not trying to find some way to create some resolution. Something's not right here, brother. I think one of the ladies, one of the subscribers, I can't recall her name, and I apologize for that, but she made an excellent point. She said the fact that that young man is sleeping in a room by himself, I guess he's planning on being divorced because he's not taking a leadership position here. He's just not doing it. That's one of his roles. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that he knows that, but he needs to take a more of a leadership role, because he could have fixed this thing, but because he doesn't understand female feelings and he doesn't know how powerful they are and how women utilize them in their decision-making process, he would have been able to try, he would have tried to kind of, I would say, help the situation along by trying to help her to understand that he did not mean it the way it sounded, and then at least consent in some way. Help her to understand, allow her to get all her feelings out so she can get that burden out of her chest, get that weight off her, and so she can feel better about the situation. Get back into bed with her, cuddle with her, hold her, let her know that you are really sincerely sorry about it. And when she starts to trust him, then over time, we can deal with the issue of intimacy. But since there was a small break in that situation, it's going to take some time now. All right, now that's Mike. All right, now let's deal with Zach. Now, Zach's situation is not really a big deal as far as I can tell. Zach's situation is simply a man who initially, when he got into the relationship, when he got married at the altar, he gave all the signs that he was really a little attracted to her. But as the relationship went forward, you could tell that his attraction seemed to wane for whatever reason. And from what I can tell, when they were having their conversations about that, it made sense that Mindy would be a little bit put off, that she would be somewhat hurt over that, because she would have wanted the man that she married to be attracted to her. That's just common sense, right? But for whatever the reason, he is not feeling her. But when he was trying to communicate that, I even had a difficult time trying to understand what the man was saying. He was talking in circles. And I'm thinking that the reason he was doing that is because I don't think he knew. I don't know if he was just so used to dealing with bimbos and dealing with really attractive women physically, and sexually, and whatever thing, women that really get him moving and flowing. He had a difficult time dealing with a woman that's a little bit more cerebral, a woman that's more verbal and conversational and social. Yeah, I think he had a difficult time with it. Now, I recognize he said that's what he wanted, but it's easy to say what you want on paper. if you don't take the time to get to know these people, really, they can tell you anything, and obviously we're seeing that. So that's the situation with Zach. My remedy for his problem would simply be that all he has to do is understand how affection and attraction works. It's not necessarily expedient for an individual to be physically attracted to someone in the beginning. It's not even necessary for you to be stimulated by someone initially, because action precedes attraction. Action precedes attraction. Said another way, attraction follows action. Meaning simply this: if you were in a relationship with a man, he was a very nice guy, good friend. You could see he would make a very good friend. He would make even a better life partner. But there is no physical attraction with you. He's not your type. Translation, he doesn't stimulate you sensually. None of that. All I would tell you to do, if you want to experience a certain level of affection with that man, then all you have to do is just start treating him like you would treat a young man or a young boy, with affection, platonic affection. And what typically happens when you treat someone with affection, platonic affection, right? Kindness, affection, attention, you give that to that individual, that action, typically affection follows. You don't have to feel the affection before you do the action. Do the action and the affection will follow. The attraction will follow. After that, then you can go down the process of being more and more stimulated, if you will, if that's your goal ultimately. Now, I hope things change for that young man, because I think Mindy would be good for him. But I'll leave judgment for that later. Brandon, I have to say this because I want to finish this video. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. Brandon, I'm sorry, family. Brandon scares me. Brandon scares me. I'm not trying to be funny. Brandon scares me. The reason for it is because this young man claims that when his bride woke him up, videotaping him with her cell phone, that he had a panic attack, and he was so frightened by that, it upset him so much so that he couldn't or wouldn't talk to her, even after she did everything she knew to do to try to create an environment where they can rectify, communicate the situation, and talk it out. He wasn't willing to do that. He did that all day. All day. I don't know about you, but there's something wrong with that. Now, I'm married to a young lady like that. I'm a young man like him. First of all, she can videotape me all day. I don't care. It's not going to be an issue. But even if it was an issue, it didn't require that level. That's what I'm saying. You know, I'm thinking that if there's going to be an issue, let the issues at least be equivalent. Somebody videotaping you doesn't require you, something that upsets you maybe what? After you woke up, maybe upset you 2-3 minutes, you gonna pout all day? Nah. Somebody got something loose upstairs. Something ain't right about that brother. And then I'm seeing the brother on the previews on the next upcoming episode. He getting a little streetwise, a little aggressive. He gets aggressive at the drop of the hat. And then did you hear what he said when they were having a conversation and they were doing a little bit conflict resolution, and she had to check the brother, and she told the brother, look, don't talk to me like that, telling her she had to get over it. He's the one that couldn't get over it. I'm telling you, these brothers ain't, I'm telling you, they all up in their feelings. I have never, in all my years on the planet, I have never seen this many feminized men in my life. I have never seen that. I mean, these brothers couldn't lead their way out of a lighted room. That's crazy. I don't know how any female, if these brothers was on the dance floor doing a slow dance, I don't know how these brothers can lead that dance because they so much in their feelings all the time. Who gets mad because somebody, okay, I'll extend an olive branch and say, okay, maybe he does have an issue with videos, but he's on a show being videoed all day. He okay with that? This is a woman he been sleeping with. What do he expect? She gonna steal him or hit him in the face or do something crazy? Come on now. He could have told her off camera. He could have said something to her off camera if it really was that off-putting to him, and he could have resolved it. It didn't require the distortion where he took something that small and blew it up. If he will take something that small and make it an issue all day, we dealing with some real issues. Some real issues. Now, I'm going to say the other two couples, Austin and Jessica, and I think it's Derek and Katie, the two that have copulated, they still in fantasy world. I'm going to leave it at that. They still talking about how the other one is, everything and all of that. And, they didn't put each other on pedestals, and they still talking about all that romantic nonsense that ain't going to last because that's not reality. Love is not something that's a chance or a feeling or knowing. Love is a choice. That's what it is. That's what it's always going to be. It's a choice. I choose to love my wife. I choose to love the people in my life. Always have, always will. I choose every day to love them. Every day. I don't have a relationship with people and it's by chance. Today, maybe it's a chance I'm going to love you. Maybe tomorrow I won't. Who wants to live in that type of environment? That's the kind of environment a lot of these two couples I just mentioned, they living in. But you're going to see that value system for love, it never works. That's why our marriage system is so broken. Because they don't choose to love. They have a romantic version, which is what I call fake love. Real love chooses. That's what real love does. It operates on choice. It's not fueled by feelings. It's fueled by time. It's fueled by knowledge. The more time and knowledge you have of the individual, the greater the love, the greater it grows. And it's based upon reality, not fantasy. Fake love is all the opposite. And that's what those other two are dealing with. Fake love. It's all based on chance and knowing and feelings. It's fueled by a whole bunch of nonsense. It's all this feeling stuff. That's the fuel. And it's not based in reality. That's why it won't last. You're going to see, though. I don't have to tell you that. You'll find out. And the last one is Mica. I'm going to end on Mica. I'm going to try to make it short and sweet. I know I already talked too long. Mica, she showed out and showed up. She showed herself. She showed out in terms of her. She let everybody see she is 25. She acts like she's 25 because she can't control her feelings. She's telling all of the other couples about her feelings, about how he, in her mind, did what he did to her and how she should be experiencing the Disneyland honeymoon, the prince and the princess type thing, all of that, I'm kind of blowing that up. But in a sense, all I'm saying is that she is making a big issue about it because she is not having the kind of honeymoon she hoped she would have. He's not wearing his wedding ring. She's not wearing her wedding ring. Now that's his problem. That's his issue. That's extreme. That's some I'm in my feelings mess. These young boys. Okay, I can't get what I want, so I'm not going to be in the room with you. I can't get what I want, so I don't think I'm going to be married, so I'm going to take my ring off. Everything that she was saying, he actually is doing. He's actually validating what she said. But where she's going wrong is that she keeps bringing it up. She should be trying to talk it out with him. Maybe what she might have done is go directly to him. Now, I don't know if she did because they're not showing that. She may have behind the scenes attempted to try to go and reconcile. I don't know. But I would have hoped that that would have been something he did. Here's a man talking to the pastor, acting like he hadn't really done anything, and he tried to be direct, and she was misinterpreting his. But he never tells the pastor he's walking around without his ring. Why would he do that? If in fact what he was telling the pastor was true, but he took his ring off. Now she, by her seeing that he doesn't have his ring on, he's making her feel worse. First, you're not sleeping with me. Secondly, we're not in the same room. Thirdly, we're not walking. We're not together. We're not having a honeymoon. And fourth, you're walking around with a ring without a ring like you're a single man. But I'm the one that's crazy. Now, I don't think it was wise for her to take her ring off. And I do think that she's going to have to, somebody's going to have to kind of get her to tone it down and talk it out. But she's 25. You know what I mean? She's 25. 7 years ago, she was 17. You know what I mean? No, that's not true. 5 years ago, she was 20. Okay. So at the end of the day, she's going to need some real help in terms of how she's going to deal with this situation, because I think she's going to sabotage this because she's a little bit too assertive. She's a little bit too aggressive. And I think she doesn't know any better. She's very, very masculine. And she's going to take the lead because that's the way he rolls. The same thing with Brandon. And Brandon's just going to get, I think he's just going to overreact. These guys, they're going to be, they remind me of guys that are very feminine. So they're used to following and letting the women lead, and they don't know how. So when things don't go right, then they roll or they blame female. See, that's just what I see. So I hope, things get better. I hope that, especially with the young two, Mike and Mica, I hope that they can resolve it. I saw they're sleeping together, but Mike, I'm not feeling him. I don't trust him. I just think he's just so ignorant about all the things I mentioned in the beginning. And I say the same thing about Brandon, just straight ignorant. These brothers, and the females, they're no help, but I put so much emphasis on the men because I want them to be able they don't have the benefit of guys like me. See, if it was me, I'd tell them how to go in there and fix it. I just tell them how to go in there, how to speak to her, how to hold her, how to look at her, how to say what she needs to hear, instead of just trying to go in there and be some rodeo guy and try to be a busting bronco like she's some sort of bull, and then you're gonna beat her until she calms down. That ain't gonna work. That nonsense don't work. Trying to be some thug, that's not gonna work. Trying to be hard, that's not gonna work. So we'll see. We'll see. That's my time. I thank you for yours. Catch you on the other side. God bless you.